Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Now today I thought I'd take a little bit of a break from all the overwintering vlogs, having to bring all the plants in, still in between doing that, so lots more left to do. But I thought I'd have a little break today and do some repotting. And this time I'm going to be repotting my very tiny little Gasteria verrucosa, lovely variegated variety of Gasteria, and my little Haworthia limifolia. Very tiny, as you can see. This is my hand and my thumb, little tot plants. And these two little sweeties were gifted to me by my wonderful friend Kath from Purple and Thorns here on YouTube. And if you're not familiar with Catherine's amazing channel, do go over, check Catherine's channel out and subscribe. I'll link Kath's channel up above and down below in the video description. So thank you so much, Kath. These are doing very, very well. And they were gifted to me about a year ago by Catherine now. And there were two tiny little plants, potted them up into these little tiny little pots and got them to root. They've got a good little root system. As you can see, the roots coming through the bottom there. And also all the roots are compact on the little Haworthia, so it's time to repot them. Now, normally I repot the majority of my cacti and succulents during the spring and summer months. But because Gasterias and Haworthias and aloes and them type of succulents, I find in my experience a lot of mine are winter growers and also winter flowering as well. I find that in the fall, sort of autumn time, they put a bit of a growth spurt on, and it's pretty safe to repot these type of succulents during this time of year. So it's a good opportunity now to pot on these two little cuties into the next size pot, which I've got here. Now, I've made quite a few repotting Gasteria and Haworthia videos over the years. I've made a special video on actually repotting Gasterias and Haworthias and aloes because I often prune the roots when I'm repotting. I wouldn't normally do that with cacti and succulents unless the roots were decaying. But with these type of succulents, Gasterias and Haworthias and aloes, they have very fleshy roots. And a lot of the time the roots will die back and you just cut them back. Sometimes I leave them overnight just for the roots to callus before I pop them up again. Probably won't have to do that with these because they're very small. But I've made a complete video on repotting Gasterias and Haworthias and aloes, so do check that video out. I'll link that video up above and down below in the video description, including how I prune the roots as well. And I've also made a care video on how to care for Gasteria. So if you want to know how to care for Gasteria, check out that video also. I'll link that video up above and also down below in the video description. So it's a little bit about these plants here. And I've got the next size pot up. And I'm going to talk about the soil I'm going to be using now. Now, when you repot succulents, it's really important that you use a very well-draining soil, that it dries out quickly in between waterings, and also that it's very free-draining, so water drains out quickly. You don't want to use traditional houseplant soil that stays wet or that's got wetting agents and things like that. And I like to make my own succulent cactus and succulent soil. For the majority of my cacti and succulents, I do vary the soil depending on what type of succulent I'm potting up. But with Gasterias, Haworthias and aloes, I use a pretty much all general purpose mix. And I've used 3 equal parts of a loam-based soil, LOAM. In this case, I'm using John Innes number 2 with added pumice and grit, a bit of mixture of each, and also sharp sand, horticultural sharp sand. I've used 3 equal parts. So it's 3 equal parts of a loam-based soil, pumice and grit, which I've used at 25, 50% each. But you can use just grit, or you can also use perlite and sharp sand. And if you want to know how to make your own cactus and succulent soil mix in 3 easy steps, which is how I've made this one here, do check out a video I've made on how to make cactus and succulent soil. I'll link that video up above and down below in the video description. But the most important thing, as I say, is that it's a well-draining mix. If you want to use a traditional cactus and succulent soil, if it's good quality, you use that. And that's a little bit about that there. And now let's get to repotting these tiny tots. Now, first of all, I'm going to remove them. This one little Gasteria verrucosa there. And squeeze the little pot. I should be able to squeeze it without breaking this pot. So perfect just to have got this to root. Careful there with the little root at the bottom. come away easy enough. And it's always a good opportunity to check over the root system. As I say, this was a little tiny little plantlet that Catherine gave me, and it's happy to say it's rooted really well. Just going to very gently loosen up the roots now. Don't think I'll need to prune any of these back because it's still very small, and roots look pretty good. Just loosen it up. Check there's no signs of any mealy bugs and all the other type of things you often get. Root mealy bugs hiding on roots, and Gasterias and aloes and Haworthias with their fleshy roots are very prone to it. But this case, very healthy, as you can see. So just give it a bit of a shake. So that's that one removed. And then this one here, Haworthia limifolia. And same thing again. Squeeze in the pot. And as I say, I have no trouble pruning roots on Gasterias and Haworthias if they're very rotting or anything like that. But in this case, it looks pretty good again. Good little root system. As I say, they're little plantlets, so they've all taken root, loosening up the soil. Always good to loosen up the soil if it's a little bit compact, just to check. Very perfectly healthy again there. Happy days. So that's them unpotted. And now to get potted up with the new soil. Always good opportunity as well with Haworthias and Gasterias, and as to remove any dead leaves that have come away here. So that's great. Pretty healthy. And then a bit of soil in the bottom of the pots. And there, a little bit too much in there, I think. Same with that one. And there, step down, this little sweetie pie. And there, a bit of soil then around the edges. To make sure that the soil goes all around the edges when you repot. These are very easy to repot because they're only tiny. They're not like some of the bigger plants I've got, and I have so many I wanted to repot this summer and I never got round to it. So probably with the majority of my cacti and succulents that aren't winter growers, I will be having to leave the repotting for them until the springtime now. But most of them are all overwintering at the moment. But as I say, with the majority I find anyway, with my Haworthias, Gasterias and the like, and the aloes, they tend to have a bit of a growth spurt at this time of year in the fall. And a lot of my aloes are coming into flower as well, which is exciting to see, as well as my Haworthias. Again, just gently tap around. Label on there, and that's that one done. And what I do as well, I've mentioned it in a few of my videos, when I do repot my cacti and succulents, I don't give them any water. I keep the soil, always use dry soil, and I don't give them any water for a week to 10 days. And because it is sort of fall time anyway now, I won't really be watering these much. As I say, they are winter growers, so I will be giving these type of succulents a slight bit of watering over the winter months, because they're still coming into growth. But I do keep majority of the time the soil dry with most of my all of my cacti except the epiphytes, and the majority of my succulents. But I will be giving these a tiny little bit of water in about a week or so's time, because as I say, they're winter growers, and these are going to be kept in my grow room here anyway, not in the polytunnel where it's kept very cold. These are going back under the grow light, so they're going to be still kept growing. They're still quite young, you see. There we go, tap to make sure the soil gets all around the edges of the pot. Little label it. And what I'm going to do now is put a tiny bit of top dressing on the top. In this case, I'm using a bit of pumice and a bit of molar clay, just to finish it off. Not a necessity, but I always think it finishes it off nice. A bit of top dressing. Plus, I always find that a bit of top dressing helps to keep them annoying fungus gnats off the surface of the soil. I always find that's a bit of a pain sometimes, so that helps. That's that cutie pie done. And then this one. Just a tiny bit of top dressing there. And that's them done. As I say, I'll be keeping these dry now for about a week to 10 days and giving them a wee bit of water just because they're sort of still growing at this time of year. So happy to say that's them potted up, little sweetie pies. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and for lots more tips and tricks on how you can care for and grow cacti and succulents, do subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon. And for more growing tips, do check out my blogs and also the growing tips advice on my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness and tons of succulent plant power from across the Emerald Isle. And until my next video, bye, bye, bye.